Welcome to the Mystic Millionaire podcast, where wealth is energy, success is a mindset, and abundance is your birthright. I am Danielle Amos, your host and mentor, here to help you unlock prosperity, embody confidence, and manifest a life you love. Take a breath, align with your truth, and let's manifest millions. It's my pleasure to welcome to the Mystic Millionaire podcast today a very special guest. Her name is Tori Wesszer. Tori is a registered dietitian, a cookbook co-author, and the founder of Fraîche Living, a lifestyle platform that blends wholesome recipes, home inspiration, and practical wellness tips. She's based in Kelowna, British Columbia, and Tori empowers families to live healthier, more beautiful lives through her Fraîche Table meal planning system and her cookbooks, Fresh Food, Full of Hearts, and Fresh Food, Fuller Hearts, co-authored with her cousin, Julian Harris. So Tori and I actually have a VIP, a subscriber episode where she shares for the first time, she said with any audience, about her divorce, her first marriage. And she said afterwards to me offline that she wasn't sure why she felt called to share that. And I said, well, I know why, because you felt the resonance and the fact that I'm going through that season in my life. And she shares really authentically in the subscriber episode. So go listen to that. Thank you to all of our subscribers who believe in the podcast enough to subscribe to those episodes. And then inside the episode, we talk about cooking, and Tori goes in and she shares about a bread recipe that she absolutely needs to share with our audience. And after, she shared with me that each one of you will get a discount code to her Fraîche Table app, her meal planning system. So that will be in the show notes for you. And we talk about environment. We talk about her success journey. And she shares about how her success is really due to persistence and hard work, and the value in being able to persist in a vision when it's, would have been easier to give up. We also talk about nutrition and food, but that almost seems like a side conversation. You're absolutely going to want to listen to this episode with Tori. Thank you for being here and enjoy. Tori, thank you for being on the Mystic Millionaire show. Thank you for being here in studio in Kelowna, very close to where you live. It's an honor to have you here. We were talking offline and in the bonus episode about food and how I also have a background in food. Tell me about where you got to. Who is Tori and why you do what you do?
Oh, it's been a long, winding road. And I think that for a long time, I didn't follow my heart in its entirety. And I grew up in this wonderful household in Northern Alberta where family was everything, and it still is. My folks moved to Kelowna when I was about 8 years old, and I grew up most of the time here. In fact, I can still, from where we are right now, I could walk to my parents in the same house that I grew up in and live in like probably 3 minutes. So this is home for me. And I always knew that I wanted to go to university. I love school. I love learning. And so I went to university and I was kind of bumbled my way through it. What am I going to do? And really took kind of a smattering of everything from, I loved French. I loved, the cooking side of things. I loved the science. I thought maybe I'd be a doctor. And then I ended up partway through taking this course on nutrition. And it was just really interesting. And I think a lot of it has to do with the teacher. I think of the things I've fallen in love with. I'm like, is it the subject or is it just I had a really amazing teacher? So I've had a couple of amazing teachers, my French teacher through high school, this health educator through university. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go to France. I'm going to travel by myself for a year. I'm going to go for, and maybe before I go, I'm going to throw my name in the hat for the nutrition program at UBC and see what happens. And as, pre-cell phones, pre-really anything, I don't know what my parents were thinking, throwing me on a plane by myself at 19 with a backpack that weighed more than I did. By
yourself.
myself, yeah.
Yeah.
I signed up to a French course in the south of France, and so but I figured my way out, and which is very character building. And while I was there one day, I called my parents because, of course, they couldn't call me, no cell phones,
Right.
right?
It's a
And
calling card.
exactly, pick up, mom, it's collect, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got into the nutrition program. So, I really love nutrition. It's the marriage of art and science. I love that because there are very few professions that are like that.
Tell me more. What do you mean by the
Well,
marriage of art and science?
right. Okay. So there's obviously so much science to food.
Yeah.
When I started going to school, it was in the Department of Home Ec. I mean, honestly, we were next to sewing aprons and the food. And what not too long ago, nutrition as a profession was more like, would you like chocolate or vanilla pudding in the hospital? There was a time then that was kind of the profession. And it's evolved when we're like, oh, wait a second. There's actually something to the food. There's something to this from a scientific perspective that like what we eat matters. And so therein, of course, is born the science of food and nutrition. And so that was really cool to me. And I thought, I love health. I've always loved being healthy. And I've always thought, what a cool thing that you can change your health through food. And at the same time, I have this incredibly creative side that I've just always loved creating things. And food is one of those. When I was a kid, I would like literally stay home. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but like from my friends would go out and party, and I would like stay home and cater my parents' parties.
Oh, that's
Like that was I was just at home doing that, and it made me happy.
what you dream as a daughter.
Oh, I know. So true. And so I think I have zero chance of having that happen. Neither of my sons are going to do that. No expectations of that. But I just loved it. And so it took me a long time to think, because when I taught nutrition in school, it was really science-based.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of the art stuff.
Yeah.
But then when I graduated, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I'm not meant to be in the hospital. It's just not my superpowers to do all these clinical nutrition things. What am I going to do? I like being an entrepreneur. But this is where the seed was planted for where I could marry this, like, the science of this and still help people be healthy and do it in a delicious, creative way that's super fun and lights me up.
And that's the art.
That is the art.
Okay, can we talk about one of your recent posts?
Yeah.
Actually, as you bring the art piece, the most beautiful butter.
Oh, yeah. I love my butt. That was great. That was fun.
Hey, I love it. I was like, this is brilliant. It is beautiful.
I love flowers. Yeah. Hey, I will find any excuse to incorporate flowers in anything.
And it was so simple. And then as you cut it, I was like, wow, like she's really on to something.
Thank you. It just makes me so excited. So I was watering my garden, and there's a lot of things that come up voluntarily, just as they do in the garden. And my chives were just putting on a show. And I'm looking at them and I think, oh my gosh, I can't let these go to waste. And obviously chives taste great, but the flowers, of course,
They're so pretty.
they're stunning. They're stunning. And then here they're gone. So I thought I'm going to do something with this and then share it with people. So chive blossom butter.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was delicious too.
So as you said art, I'm like, that's exactly beautiful example.
Yeah. And art is it's so important in our lives. And it's something that's so undervalued. We don't spend enough time thinking about that. And whether it's art or something different, but I love the idea that there's things that can just really light us up, and it's not tangible. And I may not like the same thing, which is super cool, but it speaks to us personally. And just I think that honestly, I think that at the root of it, it makes us happy. It sparks the joy. And I've always thought of what's my mission on this earth? And I don't know if I'll ever answer that, but I love kindness. I love people so much. And I love being a kind person at the risk of sounding cheesy. But I always say, what lives upstream from kindness? The world needs more of that. Turn on the news is all the evidence you need.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think what lives upstream from kindness is happiness. Because happy people are kind people. It's what I always, every time I see some snarky comment on social media, my immediate reaction is oh, I hurt for them because I think, oh, they're just hurting. It's so the world just needs more kindness. And if I can do it with chive butter, sure, why not?
Well, you brought up a good point about, and you didn't quite say this, but beautiful things. And I think your brand is very aesthetic, very beautiful in what you've created. And I believe in beautiful atmospheres and places, and it's a big part of my brand. And what I teach is how to get into your prosperous and abundant self is to make sure that you are in a place that lights you up. And so the beauty that you speak of and the details, like even the chai butter and the details of probably what you did for your parents as a child, creating dinner parties and those details in the space and having someone feel good and yourself feel good based on what you like is a huge gift to the world. I love staying in beautiful places for that reason, because of how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, for you, what does that look like? What does the aesthetics and the beauty, what does it look like in your own life? See what it looks like in the brand.
Yeah.
But do you agree that it's
Oh,
important?
yeah. Yeah, for me, it means a lot, and I'm very lucky that Charles, my husband, is like, my home matters a lot to me, like, how my everyday surrounding,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "Oh, like, go do your thing," and he's awesome that way, and so, yes, I feel like it's really important, the environment that you create for yourself, and I think your home matters, and I've not always lived my home is pretty aspirational for me, at least now. It's the home I would always maybe hoped I would have, and I'm very lucky that my husband's a builder and I get to live in it. But even when I was in a little tiny dorm room, as an example, that was like a shoebox, I would bring art. I brought homemade quilts, and like I would. It was just a very homey. So for me, it's very. But this is again me. I'm very high energy, so I need an environment that's very calming. You won't see a lot of like primary colors, and you won't see any actually in my own.
Yeah.
Very like calming. I don't like I treat my environment like a piece of art almost,
Love it.
where I like things and very specific things, but I also like some white spaces because in any good piece of art, you need your eye to have a place to rest. So it can't be just full of things everywhere, for me at least.
Yeah.
And so there's a real it's a real intentionality that comes with designing a space or a garden or whatever it is that looks good. And we may not know. Some people don't know how to bring that to life. They know they like it, but they don't know what they like about it and maybe how to get it. I suppose my hope is that I understand some of that. I certainly don't know all of it, but that maybe I can help some people if they like the same things that I like, that I can help them be the architects in their own lives of those things. What I really think I'm in the business of is helping women feel accomplished.
Okay, tell me more. How do you do that?
Well, again, I love people.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that
And
I
your
love.
energy is so contagious. But
Thank you. I've got a lot of energy. I was at tennis lessons last night,
Good.
and my tennis instructor, Mike's like, "You've got an intense grip." I'm like, "Mike, let's just talk about this. I'm intense, okay? Like, I'm just a lot of energy. I don't know where it comes from,
Yeah.
but
Great.
I like do love life, and I do think that it's so cool when someone's like, leave bread making as an example. I have a great recipe for bread.
Okay. What
And
kind of bread?
well, all kinds, but
Okay.
I have like, this one's magic dough. I have this one. So it's in one of my cookbooks.
Okay.
I'm going to walk them down to you after.
Okay.
I forgot them, but I'm going to grab them
Oh,
for you.
amazing.
Yeah, if you have room in your
Yeah,
suitcase. Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, yeah. And so if this no fail
Yeah.
recipe that can be made into like almost anything, like pizza dough. But it's like it is literally the easiest and best bread recipe that I know that I have in
Okay.
my arsenal. And it makes like beautiful fluffy buns, and you serve it to your guests, and you get all the accolades, and just like it's such a
And
great
your
recipe.
house smells amazing.
Your house smells
Yeah, okay.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like and so I love it when people are like, "Oh, I've never made bread before." I'm okay, try this. And I try and lay it out as easy and simple as I can. And then you get the comment back, "I did." And they send this like proud picture of it staged, and they're just so excited about it. I'm like, you did it. Like that's the feeling that I want more people to have. And it seems small. It's like it could be like a chai butter recipe or bread, or maybe it's like a tutorial on, how to clean something, whatever it may be. But I think the little things actually matter more than we give them credit for. And if we can stop thinking about life as this like, oh, I have to do this one big thing to feel accomplished or enough or worthy. And maybe instead it's like this series of small things that we're just chipping away at. And one by one, they're helping us feel more accomplished.
This brings me back to the details, what I was talking about before, and like your environment matters. Like for me, it's those little details. So you master the bread, and then you put the chai butter, and there's joy in those seemingly little things, but they become big deals, and it's the little moments that add up
Yeah.
to create the joy and the happiness, so that we can be nice people. To your point,
Yeah. Yeah.
people are nice people.
Totally. Details matter a lot. In my business, I used to say I was easygoing, and then I just stopped saying that. like I'm such a liar. I'm not easygoing. And it's just started owning it. And I'm not easygoing for a reason. The details matter a lot to me, whether the aesthetic is one thing. I know I'm particular. But if you look at details, for instance, they add up to trust. So if you're reading a recipe and you're following it, and all of a sudden this recipe is a fail, you know? So
There's
you,
nothing worse,
right. So you spent,
especially if you're like making it for company.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now you've spent your hard time, your money,
Yeah.
your energy, your now like, and like you said, your pride.
And the food, like
Yeah.
all the money on the food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really important to me that we get the details right because
Yeah.
people are trusting us. The details are important.
That's good. So how do you, I'm sure that you obviously have a team and to make sure that all the recipes work and all of that. And are there multiple tests in different kitchens or what kind of level of detail do you go to?
Yeah, we test all the recipes. I have one person that does, so we have a meal plan called Fraîche Table, and it's the whole purpose is just to, again, to infuse people with that sense of accomplishment. It's really designed for more for busy people and just, you know, like plug and play. Like, I don't want to think of what was for dinner. I want simple recipes and just feeds you, you know, all the recipes week after week. And the recipes are constructed with a lot of intention. So they're meant to be super simple. So I always think of the avatar.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend I'm making a recipe for this one person. And this person she's busy, she's tired. You know, she doesn't really have taken care of herself. Maybe she's got a kid on one hip, a dog might be barking. She's kind of like at her wit's end, but she wants to cook dinner, maybe has to cook dinner.
Yeah.
And what are we doing for this mom? So all of the recipes have to pass this test. Like,
I love it.
does this mom have to go to 3 different grocery stores to find an ingredient? The moment one person on our team struggles to find an ingredient, I'm like, like figure something.
Amazing.
It's like something else is going to be like nix the recipe or put something else in there because this is not how, we're not in the business of making people do that. If 3 recipe instructions can be combined into one, amazing. So all of those things is distilled down into, like, for me, the lens of a recipe, because I'm not a Michelin star chef. I love going to those restaurants, but that's actually not the type of food that I love most. I love, like, you know, simple, home cooked, and obviously get it done.
Yeah. And what about time? Like 20 minutes?
I mean, we have timestamps on all of them. So
Yeah,
sometimes it depends, you know, sometimes you're in the mood for like, no, this is like this is a bottle of wine and some Frank Sinatra and a candle lighting moment where we have recipes like that too, where it's like, no, this is an event. And then others are like, I just got to get dinner on the table. Like this crew needs to eat. And so, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. It depends on the recipe, of course.
Yeah, I love that. That's so helpful.
Yeah.
For me, I always forget about, like, I'm the mom that always, dinner is a non-negotiable. We have to sit down together.
That's great.
And I prefer that it's me cooking rather than buying something in. And I'm not the best cook. My husband did a lot of the cooking. And I'll forget that I need to take things out. So it's like, what can I make where I'm like defrosting chicken quickly or doing something and then pull it together with the things that I have in my fridge. And I have lots of fresh things. So I love that there's recipes that 20 minutes, it can be like boom. And
it's so funny. It's not the cooking that gets in the way. I've studied this for years.
Yeah.
It's not the cooking that's the problem. It's all of the stuff that comes before cooking, right? You think about, what am I going to make? Yeah, asking people what they want for dinner. I mean, pull your teeth.
No.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's
like,
you
this is dinner.
decide. Yeah, whatever you feel like. That's like super unhelpful. Super unhelpful. Yes. So having a plan, having the ingredients in your house, so you're not running to the grocery store 15 times. Having some sort of a plan. Having, like, if it's chicken that's thawed, they're not coming home at 5:30 going, amazing, frozen chicken breast, lovely. What are we gonna do with that? Like
How to redefrost.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
So I watched on your Instagram, you had another great post that really resonated with me about habit stacking.
Yes.
I talk a lot about habit stacking in my community. And so when I saw, and then you asked people for their comments, I'm like, this is beautiful. So tell me about what brought on that. Is it more about the busy mom and your avatar that you're helping with?
I suppose so. Probably me, to be honest. I think even though it may not appear sometimes, I worry about that I may not appear that I'm that avatar I am. I'm like, I have a lot of moments where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And like, I'm crumbling. Like this is like, but so I feel like I'm always just thinking, like, what do I need? And then if I need it, well, chances are someone else needs it. But I am a bit of a self-diagnosed productivity junkie. I love being productive, probably to a fault. I'm sure there's some crazy dopamine that I get out of I just like do. I'm a doer. But I think that there's been times when other things have kind of fallen by the wayside that is hard. Friendships or, you know, that comes to mind. And catching up with someone. And so I love the idea of being able to put my AirPods in and call my my friend and catch up while I'm still folding laundry. And I'm totally present with that person. But this like mindless task needs to get done. And I think that multitasking is a bit of like, I don't think
I think it's a myth.
it is, because your brain can only focus. So it's actually really multi-focused. So your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. But you can, we're doing it now. I'm breathing and I'm doing, I can click my heels. And so it's not that we can't do more than one thing at a time, but we can only focus on one thing at a time. So I love the idea of pairing a focused activity with something that's not as focused. And
A habit that you habitually do anyway.
exactly.
No thinking.
Exactly. And pairing them, it just feels good.
Yeah.
We all want to, again, it goes maybe back to that word accomplished. We all want to accomplish stuff like that. I think we're just hardwired as humans to be like, hey, I did that. Like, it feels good. So if we can stack our habits and get more accomplished, I think that's great. Why not?
It's huge. I put on my makeup, brush my teeth, and I have a whole morning routine while I do a lot of my self-image studying. So like embodying my next level self and my mindset rituals happen every time in the bathroom because I know for sure I'm brushing my teeth and doing the things every day. And then it becomes a non-negotiable and it gets done.
I love that too, because you're being very intentional with it. You're pairing it. So all of a sudden there's an association in there where you're like, oh, when I brush my teeth,
Totally.
then I think of me as, I love that.
And also makeup. So I put on my makeup and it's like literally me becoming that next level version, that character.
I love that. Good.
And as you're saying, habit stacking, I have Michael who's been helping us here. I love calling him when I'm driving, like catching up.
Oh,
like, it's like I drive for a couple hours to my chalet and I'm like, okay, it's Michael.
We all have that person that we call. Yes.
My best friend Jake as well. Yeah, I love it.
I love that too.
You know that you can get it done. I can drive and I know where I'm going. I've driven this route
100%.
And
yeah, I'm with you. I do the same.
Cool. Thank you for that. I've got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
About your success and the brand that you've created. So you're on the Mystic Millionaire podcast, and we talk a lot openly about success and money, and especially around women and what it takes to build success, whatever that means to you in your life. And for you, could you share your story? Was there a moment that was pivotal in creating the success? Let's start there.
Yeah. I would love to say that there was just one moment where everything turned and it all came together. But I do think that's kind of part of the problem with today's society, that we're thinking there's got to be like one magic key. There's got to be one magic moment that is the unlock, the promise. It's sexy and it's easy to sell. That's why, right? It's why all of these books and everything like sells, because we're all kind of searching for something, like some greater version of ourselves. And I could only speak for me, N equals one, study of one here. But I think any success that I've had has just come with grinding it out. Like I do have things I want to share, but I do want to say that to the person who's wanting to achieve something, to my sons who are, of course, haven't even begun their career trajectory, there is something about hard work and the fact that not everything is going to be instant, and that perseverance. That's one thing. I have one of my sons, Charlie. He's 13. And I talk to him all the time. I'm like, I always want to cry because he perseveres. He does not give up. He was the kid that when he was trying to skate when he was a kid, he was like, all the parents were like, look at that kid. He's a falling, getting up, falling, getting up, falling, getting up. Like, I don't like countless times. And I was like so proud of him. He was not the best skater on there, but he was the hardest working person out there. He was falling down and getting back up every time. And I think, oh, I love that about him. I think that's the same about me. Persistence. Like the world is going to knock you down.
Yeah.
And it might come in the form of a nasty comment. It might come in the form of a failed business. It might come in the form of a friendship that's fallen or a divorce. And the reality is, my mom always says, this too shall pass. And I love that. And now I've gotten old enough to feel like, you know what? I'm wise enough now that there are versions of Tori that I listen to, and I suspect you have a similar situation. There are versions of Tori that I listen to, and then there are versions of Tori that I'm like, you know what? This version of Tori isn't speaking the truth right now. And so that's interesting.
I love that.
Right.
That's interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm like, I am going to put this aside. I'm like, I'm not going to work on this project or problem, whatever it is today. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to revisit this tomorrow, because I bet I bet a different version of Tori that I can trust maybe a little more is going to show up. Cranky Tori can just kind of go do something else.
Yeah.
And because I'm so hard on myself. I have beat myself up over the years so badly. And at some point you start believing the stories that you tell yourself, don't
Totally.
you?
Yeah.
You start believing that you're not good enough, or that you can't do it, or that the success is reserved for someone else. You know, Oprah Winfrey or, you know, Martha Stewart. Well, they had it all figured out, but they just were made of something different that I wasn't.
Right.
And I don't think that's the case. And gosh, you know what? It's taken me so many years to get to that point where I'm like, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? I mean, I'm going to mess up so much every day, but that's okay. Because why not me? We all deserve. And guess what? Why not you? Why not everyone? There is enough room for everyone to flourish and to thrive and to be great. And so if we could all just think that way and not be afraid of the climb is where it's at. And guess what? It sounds silly, but the journey is really where it's at. When we stop growing, what is it? Grow or die? So I know it feels like the messy middle, but actually that's where the beautiful part is. So just like figure out how to make all of that fun and beautiful.
And find joy in it.
Exactly. That is actually where it's at. It's that, like, it took me so many years I was destination some happy. I always thought when I was 14, I just could not wait to drive.
Yeah.
As soon as I wanted to drive, my life was going to be complete when I could drive. 16 years old, opened at the driver's center, got my driver's license, and lo and behold, you know, it's not like a jar of happiness opened up as soon as I got my driver's license. So I thought, oh, I can't wait till I can drink. I didn't like to drink. I can't wait till I could drive. That's probably like I'm going to party and like that, you know, and then couldn't wait to move out of the home. But like, and then all of a sudden, at some age of life, I was like, you know what? I keep on reaching these milestones, and then the yardstick just keeps on getting further away, and like I keep on moving the goalposts. Like, and who is that serving? It's certainly not me, and probably not anyone else. So it was so liberating when I'm like, you know what? Like, okay, I've got still a goalpost, but I'm like really loving now. Like, this is fun. This is cool. Like, I worked really hard to get to here.
Yeah, I love that. So persistence, hard work, create the success. Is there anything that you would do differently looking back?
Yeah. There are probably a lot of things that I would do differently. I think I would be less apologetic. And I had a job where I worked in corporate for 16 years. And it was a great job. But it was like 16 years.
Yeah.
And let's pause. It was 16 years. And I think I would have coached younger Tori to be like, guess what? You're ready. You're ready and you can do this. Because what is it? Imperfect action over perfect inaction.
Yeah.
And if we wait until we're ready, we're never going to do it. We're never going to do the thing. And so I would have leaned into my own magic earlier. And I love my journey. I love the fact that I got to work at a company that was so wonderful and it helped create me as a person. But I would have done the hard thing earlier. And yeah, probably. I mean, but I would have also been not afraid to get into rooms where it intimidated me more.
Yeah.
And to surround myself with, I've never been judgmental. I've always loved holding people up to be able to hold myself up to that same standard, or to believe in myself as much as I believed in other people. That would have been lovely.
That may have been connected. You said earlier that you were super hard on yourself. So it's not surprising that you would judge yourself, you know, in the same way. So wanting to help other people and hold them up, it makes a lot of sense that you want to do that for others, and that you could have done that for yourself.
And let go of perfectionism, or really people's opinions of you.
Yeah.
Because you can't control it.
I feel like that comes with age. Like,
It
as the
does.
older that I become, it's like, I don't really care what you think anymore. Like,
I
I just don't have
know.
the time for it.
And isn't it interesting? You can't force it. Like I've often wondered, like, why does Mother Nature make us wait till we're older? Why can't we just have that earlier in life? I remember when I was young, I was probably like wise beyond my years, but I knew what I didn't know, and I knew I didn't have the wisdom. So I think I tried to like read my way into it, or all the self-help books. I just was trying to figure out how to hack wisdom.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I don't think that you can. I think you can learn from people, and that's really helpful. But there's just some things that come with living. You're like, that sucked so bad, and now I know. But not know, like, oh, I read that and I highlighted it, and I mean, no, like, No, I like really know. Like that sunk in, like that hit at a
Yeah.
deeper level.
Out of all the books, the self-help books and all the things that you read, do you have a favorite?
Well, lately, I really loved Buy Back Your Time
Okay.
and it's not really a self-help book, but it was a real pragmatic. It's Dan Martell.
Yeah.
That was a one I've recently read that I really did love. And I know Dan, and he's a great guy. And as someone who grew up, so I grew up not valuing my time. I grew up, my mom did everything. And we never had, she could have afforded a cleaner. She didn't work all the time. But I grew up with this toxic mentality, and my mom was amazing. So not throwing darts at her, that I just had to do everything. And so I think what I really liked about Dan's book was like, it's okay to not do everything. And guess what? When you try to do everything, there is a trade. And you have to think, what is your yes worth the trade for that no? What are you saying no to because you're saying yes? And so I really think that helped. Also, Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I think I really like him as a person. I listened to the book again on a drive. I went back from Banff, multitasking.
Stacking.
Yeah, have a stacking. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I just loved that book so much. And I loved what he represents and so those are two that I really liked. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm such a reader. And when you said like the wisdom in the books, I read everything. I mean, I'm a one line in human design, if you know human design and all, but that's like the knowledge.
I'm gonna do mine. I haven't done mine yet, but I'm so curious.
Yeah. So one line is very much about knowledge. And so and it can be a huge win because I can quote lots of books and I know where things come from and I'm well educated. And it can also lead to procrastination because there's a perfectionism with that. Like, if I don't know enough, I can't go out. And who am I to go and teach that until I'm an expert or use that? So you've got to really understand the trait in order to leverage it for yourself. But for me, books, I love classics. I love going to the old books like Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard is one I carry with me.
Okay.
And I read often. And it's all ratted. Like, it doesn't even have a cover anymore. And I can open that book and read a page or even a paragraph. And it's really profound for me. The other author that I have on my phone that I read often is Thomas Truord. And again, he's like 500 years old, the books and the pieces, and they're more like essays. And so both of them write about, in my opinion, universal laws and how to understand how things work. And so I need reminding. So
I love that. And what does that do when you read something? Obviously, you read it before many times, clearly, and it reminds you or brings you back to some sort of a place or tell me about that.
Yeah.
What does that do for you?
Well, the truth resonates with who we are, I believe. And so when we can find truth, especially in text, and coming back to it as we grow in our consciousness and our awareness, the book stays the same, but we change. And so our understanding of that truth changes as we rise in consciousness. And so that's why it's really important to come back, because what I was reading, 5 years ago, 10 years ago in the book, maybe about like the law of cause and effect, I may have understood it very much on a physical plane, but now that in my current level of awareness and 10 years later living life and gathering wisdom, I understand that law very differently on different planes. So
I love that.
It's not that the book that's changed, it's me that's changed, and therefore the application of the material changes. And so, yeah, that's why I go back to the old text like that and repeat.
I just had a big unlock. I've never seen my books like that. I've never thought of that. Of course you're changing. Of course I'm changing. Of course we all are changing. I'm going to go reread some books because it didn't dawn on, like, I don't think that connection really.
And we're programmed to believe to pick up a book, read it, and put it away.
We are.
And what if there's books that were meant to continue, because the wisdom that's there that we first get is very surface level, but there's much more than meets the eye, right? And there's much more behind it, especially in the old texts, I think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad I asked. Really.
So, Tori, thank you for being on the Mystic Millionaire podcast. We have 3 questions that we finish every interview with, and they're 3 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Are you ready for them?
I guess I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Abundance in one word. Go.
Love.
Thank you. You're on the Mystic Millionaire podcast, and we talk a lot about indulging in things or services or products that allow us to stay in a prosperous vibration or abundant vibration. Do you have an indulgence that is a non-negotiable that you invest in?
An indulgence that's not negotiable. Working out is, if I'm a different person when I move my body.
Yeah.
So that is, and ideally in nature is my meditation. As a busybody, it's my
Yeah.
meditation.
And what do you do? Like hiking?
I hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have beautiful trails
Wow.
all around here, and
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. And if I ever get eaten by a bear, you know what happens.
I love that. Yeah, part of the reason I'm here is to go hiking.
Oh, yeah, you picked the right place.
Okay, third question. Similar to actually what we were just talking about, a book. So you've got one book that you can read for the rest of your life, only one. What book is it?
Oh my goodness. One book. Just because it's recent, I think start with why. And the reason for that is so easy to forget your why. And it's just such a lovely reminder to bring you back to like you and why you're doing what you do. And this might change. I'll probably think of 15 books as soon as I exit here, quite frankly. But it was such a big aha and deeply, like, it wasn't about a surface level change. It was like digging deep to figure out what makes you tick. And I really love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Go on.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for having
blessing us with your time, your wisdom, your shares, your high, beautiful, contagious energy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It means the world to me, honestly. Thank you.